What's up, y'all, and welcome to episode 2 of Feel the Heat. I'm Allana Tachauer, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Mr. Michael.
I am really negative right now on this team, so be ready for the rest of this because we just watched that terrible loss. So I'll try to be positive. But I mean, if you open with what's up, y'all, how can I help but be positive, right?
Listen, merch is coming soon. You're going to have that tagline stamped across your chest before you know it, Michael.
Stamped across my chest, stamped across the t-shirt, not across my chest. You think I'm getting a tattoo that says what's up, y'all?
I don't know. We're in this for the long haul. Matching tats might be a part of our future. I'll make our appointment when I come down for a Heat game. That can be part of our weekend.
No, thank you. Let's talk about the Heat.
He means yes.
Nope, not even close.
So tell me how you're feeling tonight. You're negative. Why?
I mean, just that loss to the Bulls was so bad, right? Like, yes, they're missing a bunch of players, but the Bulls are missing Zach LaVine. We've seen the Heat perform when they're missing other players, right? We've seen them beat teams without Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler should be worth Tyler and Nunn put together. I just don't know. You've talked about it before. The most consistent thing about this team is inconsistency. Here it is again on full display. I don't know. You find a way to be more positive about things than me, so I'll let you take this one.
No, I mean, I think at this point I'm out of things to say. The only caveat, I think in this situation is at the end of the day, we were without Nunn and Tyler. Duncan may as well have gone out from the get because he was basically useless. And I've been saying this, listen, Jimmy and Bam, they're superstars. That doesn't mean that they can carry the team night in and night out. It's just not going to happen. I know everyone is up in arms about Jimmy's missed layup. Was it great? No. Did that cost us the game, though? Also, no. And at the end of the day, he's doing everything else. So to hold him accountable for this loss, I think is ridiculous. But I mean, we needed to win this one. And especially coming off of that loss against the Hawks, I don't know what to say anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they went, what was it? Because the last time we recorded was after the Rockets game. They beat the Spurs, they lose to the Hawks. Then they barely beat the Bulls, and then they lose to the Bulls. If you had to blame anything, right? Like, well, I understand that the team is up and down, right? Some players play well one game and then they're kind of gone the next one. But if you had to pin it on anything, what do you think? Because I really don't know. I really don't know what to blame here.
I mean, I just think offensively we are so inconsistent, and it's not really even between guy to guy, but even the shots that we're taking. I mean, listen, I understand there's a whole Gabe Vincent culture movement, and I'm all for that. And his defense definitely helps. But those threes, I mean, chucking up threes when I think at that point we were either barely in the lead or we were down, that is not the time or the place. So I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if it was Spo giving guys the green light at that point just because firepower wasn't there with so many guys out. But I don't have really much to say about our defense. I mean, here and there, some lapses. I just think offensively, we cannot get going.
Yeah, there's nothing happening on offense. And listen, to all the people that said Max Strus is the next Duncan Robinson, this Heat team can produce 3-point shooters, Robinson is replaceable, this and that. Even if you think Robinson is one-dimensional, and yes, I am talking to you, Allana, who has said that multiple times.
Have been wrong, for the record.
You're going to keep putting it on the record because you said that and it was wrong.
As long as I need to.
I think you and I can both agree there's not another Duncan Robinson on this team. I watched a very specific play where Goran goes and sets a screen for Strus. Strus kind of moves towards the ball. Bam's the one that has it. And instead of the defender sticking close to Strus, he gave some space, forced Bam to pick up the ball, and Strus had to chuck up a weird 3-point shot that wasn't going to go in. Even if Duncan doesn't get the ball in that scenario, at least the defender stays a little close. And that's what I think it is with Duncan is that gravity. And I know people don't like the word, and I get it. I don't like when people use keywords either, but here I am, I'm doing it and I hate myself for it. But when people use those keywords, it's like, it's true. You can see it, right? It takes another defender completely off the floor. So that's just, I don't know. When Duncan went out, that felt like a bigger loss to me than not having Nunn or Herro in the game at all, personally.
Well, yeah, I mean, it changes the pace, it changes the rhythm. And I think there was probably a little bit of a scramble of who's going to hit those shots now. And listen, Strus, I don't know a lot about him besides obviously having played at DePaul, but in terms of just the fact that he has not seen a lot of time on the floor, for him to have to come in and fill in for Duncan at like a moment's notice, it wasn't going to go well. You know, like even if he was hitting 1, 2, 3 shots, at a certain point, something was going to give. So I just think it would have almost been better for Duncan not to have even played at all. I at this point don't know what was going on. I know they announced an illness. I don't know what that means. So I don't know if it was something where they, you know, he tried to play and then came out, or if it happened mid-game. But I agree with you that Duncan leaving kind of put Strus on the spot, and it was, I think, more detrimental than not having Nunn and Tyler.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, it's just one of those things. The Heat have had too many losses like this, and honestly, I think a lot of people were feeling similar to this after the win against the Bulls, right, where they won 106-101. I just, nobody wants to have this feeling, especially so close to the playoffs. And honestly, from the last few games, I don't really think we have anything else to talk about, but Twitter always does.
You thought what would be big news?
Well, there seems to be an absence of a certain ornithological piece. A headline regarding mass awareness of a certain avian variety.
What are you talking about?
Oh, have you not heard? It was my understanding that everyone had heard.
Heard what?
Heat Twitter talk.
Well, speaking of that, and I know we kind of touched upon this before, but there's kind of a new conversation now happening regarding Nunn and Tyler, except this time it involves your boy Dipo. Let me hear your thoughts on this. Should Dipo take a back seat to Kendrick Nunn?
Absolutely not. And I'm going to leave it at that, and I'll let you make your point, but my answer is just very simply,
I like that you think you
absolutely
already
not.
know what my point is. How do you know I'm going to counter you on this one?
Well, number one, you're not a big Dipo fan. You've said that countless times.
Okay, I want to clarify. It's not that I'm not a big fan of him. I just figured that injury was going to unfortunately rear its ugly head, and it did. I think there is a case to be made. I'm not saying necessarily that that has to be, you know, what we would go for moving forward. I think it also depends if we're talking about Dipo coming back before the playoffs or right in time for. I think if it's before, and I think we need to ease him back, I do think it's worth him taking a back seat to Nunn and seeing how that goes. You know, if it's a playoff situation, or unfortunately even now maybe a play-in situation for the playoffs, then my opinion may start to change. But listen, I think Kendrick Nunn has earned the right to at least be a part of that conversation. I think it's pretty obvious that, you know, this team doesn't have consistency, and he has been pretty consistent. So to bring a guy back and just kind of have him take the lead just because he is who he is, I'm not sure I agree with that.
To me, it's not that Dipo is playing because of who he is. It's that I genuinely believe this. Dipo at his worst is Kendrick on a better day, right? Like Dipo at his worst is contributing so much on defense that even if on offense, he only gives you like 8 points, he's still giving you good ball movement. He's still giving you good ball control. I think he brings more to the team. He doesn't have the same shooting touch, right? Like he can't shoot the three the same. That's fine. But everything else that Dipo does, I think, is of so much more value to the team. And I agree with you on if the Heat weren't in a play-in situation and they could take some time, sure, ease Dipo back into it, right? Mm-hmm. Play Nunn, have Oladipo coming in off the bench. At this point, the Heat are a play-in team. And anyone that thinks differently is just kidding themselves. They're currently, and I don't know if this is fully updated, but currently they're a half game behind the Celtics for the 6th seed, right? They're in 7. They have to start winning some of these games. They're not doing it, so you can't take that chance, in my opinion. I think you have to play Oladipo over Nunn because he brings so much more.
But to counter that, do you not feel like we need more offensive power than kind of defensive privy right now? Because I think defensively, again, we've had lapses here and there, and it obviously depends on the lineup. But I think overall, without getting more shooters on the floor, I don't think we stand a chance.
I think the shooters help, but I think Oladipo being able to collapse the defense is going to be so much more help. I mean, you kind of saw that tonight when Jimmy's not on the floor. Who's going to really force the defense to kind of get inside of the paint and open up that shot? Who's going to be able to make their own layup? And Jimmy didn't, but we'll move on from that. But it's like, who's going to be able to do it? Trevor Ariza, who thinks he's the best driver on this team because every time he catches the ball, he's super aggressive to the rim, right? Nobody else can do that. Goran, listen, we all love Goran as a person. He's not beating anyone to the rim right now. So without any of those guys, Kendrick can't do it either. I think you just need that asset in Dipo in terms of driving to the rim, getting other guys open, and he's learning to play with Bam too, right? Like they had some nice alley-oops. I think you kind of need some of that on this team.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, to your point, it depends how we do over the next few games, and we can sit here and try to predict, but honestly, I think it's a waste of everyone's time to do so at this point. It depends who's healthy. Honestly, my favorite and worst part before every game now is the injury report that comes out, because it seems completely out of nowhere. And I don't know if it's me not paying close enough attention, but it literally seems like half these injuries were just not even a thing a day ago. And all of a sudden, Tyler is out, Kendrick's out, Iggy's out. I mean, I think Iggy was a huge void that we didn't fill tonight. And I think, we need him back really, really soon. But the other thing Twitter is very much talking about is Bam as Defensive Player of the Year. So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think Bam deserves to be in the conversation. Same way that Jimmy deserved to be in the MVP conversation, then, I mean, he's just not going to be in it, right? We know how it goes. But I think Bam deserves it. There's nobody that guards 1 through 5 like he does. There's nobody that can strike fear in a guard the way he does. Like, I don't care what that dude in Utah is doing, right?
Who? I don't know who you're talking
about.
Look,
I know that Wade is over there now, and at some point we'll address the whole Wade being ownership on another team and, whatever it did to my emotions, freaking roller coaster ride. Nobody can do what Bam does. I think he's not helped by the fact that 1, this team has not performed, and it's always going to be partially tied to that. And 2, Defensive Player of the Year to me, honestly, doesn't mean all that much. I remember one year LeBron is on the Heat. I felt like he had a chance for Defensive Player of the Year. I think they gave it to Tyson Chandler, and then Tyson Chandler ended up being 3rd team All-NBA defense. And it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. So the award to me, honestly, awards in general to me, they don't mean anything. It's kind of a popularity contest.
Yeah, I think the bigger thing in my mind is the Heat are just always counted out. And for better or worse, I kind of expect us to be at this point. So while, statistically, do I think he deserves to be a part of the conversation? Yes. Do I think he actually is? Probably not. It's one of these weird things where I feel like regardless of how we're doing, even in the bubble, we were discounted. And so I don't think that he's going to get enough credit. I also, the counterpoint to that is, unfortunately, Bam does struggle against kind of more legit bigs. That doesn't mean that he's not doing well defensively against other players, and it doesn't mean that he's not still pulling his weight. But I do think that differs a little bit from him being in the conversation.
I think another thing, too, that's going to pull away from this, and I'll take your, what you think about this. I think rebounding for his size is also going to play a big part in the fact that he isn't dominant on the rebounds. Oh boy, here we go. The fact that he isn't dominant on the rebounds, you know what I'm saying? Like what did he have tonight? Tonight he didn't have too many. I think he had 6, and a lot of people are going to say he was around the ball, he was boxing out, all that stuff. At the end of the day, they care about that number. Do you think rebounding is going to do anything for him?
Yeah, and I think part of that, and honestly, it might be why a lot of times we are discounted in kind of the more traditional voting, is that, suppose positionless basketball kind of leads all the players to do a little bit of everything. And so do I think he would help us if he was more, aggressive on getting those boards? Absolutely. But I think the reason he's not is because there are other guys to gobble them up, and it does play into, suppose just the way that he runs both his offense and defense in this case. So I definitely think that on paper that is going to hurt him, because there's not really a way to compare him to what other bigs are doing.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think that kind of wrapped up what we wanted to talk about from a Heat Twitter standpoint. And I'm going to do this in the middle of our podcast, and people are going to hear this out. I'm coming up with a new segment for us. Culture Player of the Week. Right. So from the last few games, Michael. Right. Look at that creativity. Let's go. Culture Player of the Week. So over the last, they've had 4 games since we last recorded. Like we said, we recorded after the Rockets game. They then played the Spurs, the Hawks, and then the Bulls twice. Who is your Culture Player of the Week and why?
I'm going to take the easy way out here, and I have to say Jimmy, and I know you're going to roll your eyes at me. But honestly, between just kind of his on and off court mentoring and coaching, and just the fact that I feel like he's really carrying this team. I don't think anyone oozes culture quite like he does at this point. He's kind of our savior, and that's saying a lot considering the point we're still at the season.
That's a good pick. I think for me, and it's not just because he's been scoring some points lately. I think I'm going to have to go with Trevor Ariza. I mean,
Okay.
tonight he kind of stepped up in a way that you don't always expect from him. He scored
Mhm.
points, but he's always there defensively. He's always playing really hard, trying to get in front of his guy, right? They're doing this thing where he switches and then he gets in front of the big and kind of fronts, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. That's, a lot of different factors there. But I just think Trevor has been in the right place at the right time, basically at all times lately, except for one thing. I'm going to give him this knock. And I said it earlier, when he drives to the basket, I lose my mind because he thinks he's Dwayne Wade and he goes up, he takes contact, and then he'll throw it up backwards. And I'm like, dude, you need to chill. Like, just really bring it down. I agree with you. Jimmy's been playing great, but I would say Trevor Ariza's been a little more culture than Jimmy.
Trevor Ariza with a
fight me.
headband or without?
Ooh, let's
That's
go.
the ultimate question.
Let's go with headband. Let's go. I mean, we got to go headband, right? Just like with the
Feeling
bald
the
guy from
headband.
the Lakers.
I don't know. I feel like Ariza picked it up without the headband. I think he's been doing a little better with the half up pony. But I mean, listen, he smacked a pretty three tonight, and I literally screamed. So I'll back your pick. I don't hate that.
He was the only guy making threes tonight too. So I just Trevor Ariza was a better pickup than I think both of us would have originally anticipated. I think we were both thinking, hey, he can contribute, but to this level, I didn't think he would be in the starting lineup playing this well right away.
No, and I do think that the chemistry between him and Jimmy is already palpable. I think I tweeted that from the Clutch Corner account tonight. You can really tell that they're connecting on another level, and I think that their basketball IQ matches up pretty well. So I like that pick. Look at us both picking guys who work well together. What are the odds?
I mean, you kind of took the easy route with the guy who's the superstar.
Did I not admit
kind of
to
dug
taking
into it a little bit.
Easy route, Michael?
Wow. Go figure. Please take us to the next segment before I destroy you.
Well, speaking of games that we should have won, was that a great transition? No? Okay.
I'm trying to figure out how.
I just want to talk about this Hawks game for a second. Particularly a former Yugo player.
I'm sorry. I just define Yugo for those that may not know, because it sounds like you're saying two words.
He's a Serbian basketball player by the name of Bogdan Bogdanovic, which is a mouthful to say. And actually, the reason that I want to talk about this is not necessarily the fact that he was great on the court, both against us and the Bucks, because the Bucks also lost to the Hawks. But I was actually watching the Bucks-Hawks game with my lovely mother, who does not watch basketball anymore very often, so she's a little out of touch with who's on, whose team. And there we were watching the Euro stud, and my mom took a great liking to him. So I started doing a little research on the boy for my mom's sake. And guess what, Michael?
What, Allana?
We share a birthday, exactly the same day, August 18th.
Wow.
Lo and behold, my mom, out of all the players on the Bucks and all the players on the Hawks, gravitated towards another version kind of ish of me. I just thought you'd find that fascinating, since I know you love astrology as a triple Virg yourself.
I don't love astrology at all.
You don't? You don't tout the fact that you're a triple Virg?
No, not even once. I don't even know what that means.
You don't? Okay.
I literally don't even know what that means.
It's really a shame that I can't pull up screenshots through an audio platform, because I got receipts.
You got receipts of me touting about astrology?
Yes, triple Virg, I think, is the term that you love and hold dear to your heart.
Astrology sounds like bad news. Bogdan Bogdanovic, congratulations to him for sharing a birthday with Allana. Now, people can look up Bogdanovic's age. So who shares a birthday with whom?
I don't know what you mean, and this seems like the perfect time to talk about another former Heat player.
Wait, another former Heat player? When did Bogdan play for the Heat?
You know what? Just you're killing me here with the transitions tonight. Did you see Mario Chalmers' Instagram post the other day?
Yeah, I think I saw it. What did he post? He posted the gold jersey, the Pacers jersey, the Heat Pacers jersey.
Yeah, which actually this makes me remind me of something. Did you ever get that Dipo jersey? Because
you're not calling me out for this.
I think I am. So Michael has been very excited over his trophy gold Dipo jersey that he ordered.
No. It was never going to be trophy gold. I think those jerseys are horrific.
Oh, it was. What did you get?
Black
Oh,
Heat
you got
jersey.
A black one. That's right. Okay. But What actually ended up happening?
Okay, so you see, I was very excited about my Dipo jersey. I thought I did everything right. Okay, technically, I used someone else's card for
He's
reasons
using
that shall
air
not be
quotes right now.
discussed. And then I
Technically, in air
paid that
quotes.
person the amount for the jersey. Lo and behold, I have no email. I have gotten no jersey. I don't know if I actually ordered it.
So the jersey you've been waiting on doesn't actually exist, is what I'm hearing.
I'm not sure. I don't know if I deleted the receipt email or if the jersey, if I just never hit complete order. It's a waiting game.
Can someone out there buy this man a Dipo jersey?
Please.
He's really
Not
dying
not
for
in the
one over
gold.
here.
Not in the gold, because you and I can agree on this. Those gold jerseys look terrible.
Here's the thing, though. I don't know if you
Nope.
saw, because I was watching the Bulls telecast, obviously, because I'm blacked out from League Pass. I did see the trophy gold hoodie of a guy in the stands tonight, and I didn't hate that. The only problem is I, as a blonde, can't wear that color. Wow.
Okay, I don't think that's why you can't wear it, because first of all, I think people would think you're a Pacers fan, which is what I've said from the very beginning.
No, yeah, I don't want that, especially because I'm way too close to Indiana. I'm like an 18-minute drive from Gary.
Gary? Who's Gary?
Gary, Indiana.
That's a place? They named a place after a guy named Gary?
Michael doesn't know his geography, ladies and gentlemen.
Geography. First of all, listen, there are a bunch of little cities in a bunch of different places that nobody would even know exist, right? Gary, Indiana. What is Gary, Indiana known for?
It's factories.
Unique. Wow. No one else has factories in the entire United States. I'm surprised I didn't get it in my U.S. history textbook. And then in 2000, the factories opened in Gary, Indiana. Man, get us back to one of your terrible transitions, please.
Well, we were on the topic of Rio, and he got a trophy gold jersey of his own. And then he, I believe, tagged the Heat asking if we still need a point guard. Would you bring back Rio?
Yes. And I'd give him Gabe Vincent's minutes.
You know, Gad is going to come after you for that.
Yeah, and I'll apologize, Gad. Although I did just watch the postgame show for a little bit before I came on here, and Gad was kind of giving Gabe a hard time. So
okay, so he's a fair fan then.
Exactly. He's a real fan, right? A real fan should be able to see the highs and the lows and recognize both. Yeah, I'd take Mario Chalmers back. Why not? I think he's an upgrade over Gabe Vincent right now. Maybe. I mean, I haven't seen Mario Chalmers play in a while.
Do we know what he's been doing?
Didn't he play in like a European league for a little bit?
I think so, but I think it's been a minute. I think he's been chilling for right now.
Well, good. He's been chilling. That means he's healthy. That means he won't get injured. I mean, that's something that's hard to come by.
Honestly, Ariza sat out for what, almost a year, and he's looking like he didn't skip a beat. So, I mean, if I believe in anyone to get guys back into shape, it's Pat Riley, who, by the way, tonight, I don't know if you saw him, looked like he was aging like a fine wine. I swear that man just gets better and better with time.
You know what doesn't age like a fine wine? This Heat season.
Do you just have to be so negative tonight, Michael?
I just look. It's hard. It's hard. That was a tough game. I don't know how you're just like brushing it off. I get it. We should move past it. We're not in the pits of Tartarus. I don't know why I'm going with that, but like, it sucks. It sucks.
Honestly, I think I'm just so used to it at this point, which is not a great thing to say. And I don't want to be one of those people that, are going to believe that we're going to just turn it on in the playoffs, because at this point I'm concerned that we're not even going to make the playoffs. Do I think that we'll be better off if we make the playoffs? In the playoffs, yes. I do think we'll reach another level. I think the problem is people are banking a little bit too much on that happening once we get there, because we have to get there still.
Yeah, I don't doubt that this team is going to get there. My bigger issue is, are they going to be playing or not? I think if they're playing, it's just a bad time. And so I'm going to bring it back to this because now I'm depressed all over again. So
that's what
you touted who you shared a birthday with, right? Bogdanovich, like, cool. Like, he's a decent player. You want to know who I share a birthday with? You want to know how depressing? And I picked an NBA player because there's a lot of people. I picked an NBA player, has ties with the Heat, has never played on the Heat, but has ties with the Heat. And how to put this? His jersey number is related to the greatest player in Heat history. Little trivia we're doing now.
Yeah, with the wrong girl, because numbers are hard.
Okay, here's another clue. He just changed his jersey number. Again, that jersey number is related to the Miami Heat, and specifically a Heat legend, the Heat legend.
Crickets over here.
Crickets. Yeah, I mean, you've really got nothing. How about this? What if I tell you the number 9? His jersey number is at 9, but he is related to the number 9, a Miami Heat legend. Wow, you really couldn't guess Aaron Gordon from all of that?
You share a birthday with Aaron Gordon?
Unfortunately, I do share a birthday with Aaron Gordon.
That is not something that you should have bragged about. Now I'm never going to let you live that down.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not bragging about it.
You're
you brought up a player.
it.
I looked it up. I'm being honest with the fans. I'm telling them that I looked it up while we were here recording, and now I'm even more depressed than this recent Heat streak because I share a birthday with a guy who changed his jersey number over a dunk contest.
It's interesting, though, because Virgos aren't really little bitches like he is, but
Whoa, shots fired at Aaron Gordon. Pew, 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 pew. Dang.
listen, I'm not going to let him live that one down. He should have taken that like a man. He did not win that shit. He did not clear Taco's head. I don't care. I will go dying on this hill.
Absolutely. Look, you put your hand on the dude's shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Your area
Mm-hmm.
destroyed the back of his head. That is not a 10, sir. That is not a 10. Your double zeros should not be on the back of someone's head to get a 10.
Which is why I just called him a little bitch, and I stand by it. I'm sorry you share a birthday. I'll try not to rub it in your face unless you really piss me off.
When I tweet this pod out, I'm going to tag Aaron Gordon, and he's never going to listen. But if he did, I would
do
have
it.
the
Bring him on.
greatest
I'll
day
say it to his face. You want to come on, Aaron? Let's go.
We just became an Aaron Gordon slander podcast. I freaking love it. But wait, you didn't answer. Would you take Mario Chalmers on the Heat?
I would. I think Rio would add a flavor. I also think that he's to be trusted, and he knows kind of the Heat system well enough. Now, would I count on him for much? Maybe not. But at this point, I'm willing to try almost anything.
Yeah, why not load up on 34-year-old point guards who probably can't drive to the rim?
It's a Hail Mary at this point. You should know. You like football.
I like how you're like football talk. I need to get you on some sort of football thing that we do at 5 Reasons just to watch you not know anything.
The extent of my football was covering the Packers in 2010, was it? While I was with NBC Sports. So
okay. So then who is the current quarterback for the Green Bay Packers?
I said 2010.
It's still Aaron Rodgers. That was a trick question.
See, I knew you were doing that. I knew it. I was like, did Rodgers leave?
Nope, but you got tricked and bam.
I'm telling you, it was the heyday of Rodgers and Clay Matthews and Donald Driver.
He was a wide receiver for the Packers.
See?
Yes,
Yep.
look at you.
Yeah, I promise I did my job well back in the day.
Back in 2010. And here we are now. You didn't know that Aaron Rodgers was still the
No,
quarterback.
you tricked me. Listen, okay? It is 10:30 my time. My brain's not firing like it should.
Then do you know this? Who is Aaron Rodgers engaged to?
Shailene Woodley.
There we go. How did you not know that he was with the Packers then?
I love her. She's a down-ass bitch. We love Shailene.
I know nothing about Shailene Woodley other than she was in that one movie franchise that was not good. I don't remember what it was called. I really don't remember what it was called. They didn't even make the whole movie franchise.
I know what you're talking. It was after the books.
Yeah.
Like Divergent, was that?
Divergent.
Divergent, yeah.
What a terrible movie.
No, but she was on that HBO show most recently. Pretty Little Lies.
Little Liars? Or is that a different show?
Pretty Little Liars. Big Little Lies.
Oh, yeah. That was a show.
It was on HBO. She was good in that.
We really went off the rails today, didn't we?
A little bit, which actually is a good way to close this out because you had a lot to say about what our guys are wearing recently. You didn't like Jimmy's fit from today. You didn't like his, I don't know if they're Birkenstocks, but it looked Birkenstock-esque. You were not a fan of Tyler Herro's sheer shirt, which I greatly enjoyed personally.
There it is. Magnum. Holy moly.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
Dear God. It's beautiful.
Style Corner. Okay. For those of you that haven't seen it, just go on Instagram or Twitter. Someone I'm sure has reposted it. Just look up Tyler Herro toilet paper because I'm sure you're going to get a hit.
Just DM me and I'm happy to pass along the beautiful picture.
Yeah, fine. DM Allana on Twitter or Instagram, whatever you want to do. He looks like he's wearing like a class project t-shirt. Like the teacher said to the 5th graders, hey, here's a roll of toilet paper. Make a shirt out of it. And he rolled up to a basketball game in that. I am sorry, but Mr. Tyler Herro, I support your play on the court. I don't need to see your nipples off of it.
What kind of school were you going to where you were making t-shirts as class projects, Michael?
I wasn't. It was an example.
Well, I don't think it's a very good one. It was merely a sheer shirt. A designer one at that, and I think it looked beautiful on him.
Okay, let's guess retail price on that sheer shirt. Let's guess. Go ahead. You go first. I know nothing about fashion. Actually, no. I'll go first, and then you give the educated guess, right? I'm going to guess that t-shirt, that terrible t-shirt.
It was long sleeve, wasn't it?
It was long sleeved, had a very thick like collar thing, but it was also like a U-neck, right? Because there's like V-neck, and then there's like a crew neck.
Yeah, like I'm not a fan of the V-neck.
I'm going to guess that shirt probably cost $75.
Oh, sweet, sweet Michael. That's probably $350 min. And that is lowballing it.
It looks like the factory messed up and didn't put enough fabric. That's $350? At least. I'm willing to bet. I don't get it. Why? Just why? To wear it once? Because you know he's never going to wear that shirt again. You know he's never going to wear that shirt again.
Well, he's at least not going to wear it where he's photographed for sure.
He paid $350 to show
Listen, this is coming out of nowhere. This is just an educated guess, but I will do some research. And I'll circle back on this topic.
So 75 was way too low, right?
Correct.
Oh my goodness. And then
don't worry, everyone. I will teach Michael the ways.
No, yeah. Tell me what about the shirt other than but it looks good.
It looked good on him.
But tell the people why it looks good. What about it looks good? You can't just say it looks good and move on. That's not an answer.
It looked good on him. It was a flattering top.
Okay. So you were just excited about the nips.
Listen, I like Jimmy's fit tonight and there was no nip showing. You didn't. You thought it was too out there.
First of all, I'm sure if you got a different angle from Jimmy's shirt, considering it was a mesh shirt, you could probably see those too. Right?
So you're just basically basing us off of I like what's underneath the clothes.
100%. All I'm saying is you have to be a very specific type of person to pull off that shirt. And we talked about this before. You said it was a confidence issue. I think it's purely a looks issue. You can do whatever you want. If you look the part, you can wear that shirt.
I disagree. I know plenty of people who could have similar build shapes, what have you, to both guys and would never, ever be able to pull that off. It's something about them. They're kind of quirky. They're different. They own it. Those two, honestly, are leading in style game for us, hands down.
You know what they're not leading in for us?
I set myself up for that.
Wins, availability. Jimmy has done a much better job of that. Yes, I'm not counting the time where he was out with COVID. I wouldn't count that at all. But they both have the little ankle issues and their knee stuff. And Tyler has his neck and his back. Like, maybe don't worry about the fit and get on the court. Huh?
Let me close this out by asking you what you would roll up in a game in.
Full on suit. Like the early 2000s NBA where they changed the rule to you have to wear suits, and then they wore those like big giant suits that went all the way down to suit. Yes, 100%. Like Dwayne Wade's. You remember Dwayne Wade's brown suit? I think that was one that people might
forget any of those. Yeah,
that's what I'd roll up in. What would you have someone roll up in?
What would I have?
If you picked, yeah.
It depends on the guy. I don't hate a suit idea, but for me, I would have it in like something maybe maroon, and it would be super tailored, tight fitting, and it would be capried with the loafers with no socks, and then a very like maybe matching obvious blazer pants, and then white shirt open front with a chain. But the capri The capris are a must, and so are the no socks with the loafer gang.
Oh, capri pants with a suit where your ankle's out?
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
no shot.
It's ankle season for sure, for sure.
Oh my good. Are you just into ankles? Is that what we're hearing?
It's ankle season.
It's ankle
April.
season?
Mhm.
We live in Florida. We live in Florida. When I say we, I mean most of the people that listen to this podcast. If you listen from out of Florida, thank you so much. I love all the people that listen,
some
regardless.
listeners from California. We've looked into this.
Regardless of where people are from. But when I say we, I'm thinking Florida because it's the Miami Heat. It's always ankle season down here.
But topically around the US, it is April, which means ankles are out in most places. So ankle season.
Good to know that ankles are important. So any guys out there looking to get a girl, show her a little bit of ankle because that's what she's looking for, bro. Michael's not wrong. Wow. Ankles get the girls. I don't know how to end a podcast after that. Allana, do you want to take us out after that one? Because I don't know what to say.
Here's to some wins and actually making the playoffs. Can I end that way? Because that's all anyone should care about right now. Here's to not only making it to the playoffs, but making it to the playoffs as not a play-in team. Right? That's the way we want to do it. Don't forget, you guys can always follow us on Twitter at Allana Tachauer. For Allana, it's ALLANA. Tachauer. Those are a lot of letters. You can follow me on Twitter at Michael, the number 5 RSN. It should be the same handles for both of us for Instagram as well. Correct. If you want to see what Tyler's fit was and couldn't find it on Google, you can always DM Allana. Good luck with your DMs, Allana. Thank you guys very much for listening to the pod. We will be back next week. This was Michael and Allana with Feel the Heat.